The Now Cleveland is brought to you by A Taste of Excellence Catering. Book us for all of your holiday catering needs.
We just heard running and then boom, boom, boom.
Kids hitting each other, kids trampling each other, so it was just madness.
Mayhem inside more than a dozen shopping malls nationwide.
Shoppers scrambling for cover, shocked and scared from New York to North Carolina to Texas and Arizona. All of the chaos and commotion caught on cell phone cameras.
And right here in Northeast Ohio, we get a clearer picture of just what happened inside Beechwood Place Mall. The Now's James Girardi has brand new information from police.
Yeah, Rob, one of the busiest shopping days of the year yesterday turned into mayhem here. Police telling me today hundreds of people had to be dispersed with pepper spray for causing chaos inside the Beechwood Mall. Beechwood police say more than 500 people were involved in a stampede of sorts. The reason, simply to cause a commotion. Initial witness accounts of a gun being shot inside the Beechwood Mall were false. Police found no weapons here, but did say the crowd was uncooperative. Mall security and Beechwood police had to use pepper spray to dissolve the crowd, something that set into motion even more chaos and panic. There was no fighting, no injuries or damaged property, just crowds of people running.
We just cut the lights off and just got behind the desk. You know, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. They're still running, just running.
And police telling me all this chaos was orchestrated online through social media and through group messaging between teenagers. And police telling me one person was arrested in all that chaos for attempting to hit a police officer. Reporting live in Beechwood, I'm James Girardi, News 5.
And James, we're learning new details right now about what triggered the chaos at other malls across the country. Police now revealing a loud noise during a food court fight in New Jersey was mistaken for gunfire. Shoppers there ran from the mall, causing 2 other people to get hurt. And then at this Tennessee mall, police say 3 people were injured when fireworks were set off inside a store. Police there are searching for 2 teenagers in connection with that incident. And then in Aurora, Colorado, police say fights were organized on social media as well. 2 other people were hurt, one of them seriously. At least 5 people in all were arrested.
Now, this spike in crime has businesses across the area on high alert, and you probably visit them every week. Gas station carjackings are becoming more and more common across Cleveland and the surrounding suburbs. Most recently, a woman held at gunpoint, her car and wallet stolen. Take a good look at these 7-Eleven surveillance photos. Police are looking for that man in the red sweatshirt who forced his way into a woman's Pontiac G6, eventually driving off with it and her wallet. But the story is not unique. A spike in carjackings just like this one has gas stations across Cleveland on high alert.
I think people are just getting desperate.
Mustafa Zayed's family operates 3 locations. They've been in business here for more than 20 years, and they've seen it all.
We've definitely had our fair share of, misgivings.
And while they've been targets of this very crime in recent months and just over a year ago when a car was stolen with a child inside, he told me they continue to do everything they can to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Don't come here with that. Cleveland, I was born and raised in Cleveland, and, I don't take kindly to people trying to harass and hurt my customers.
Even if prevention means escorting customers to their cars or asking people hanging out outside to take a hike.
People don't like it when I have to tell them to leave, but I take, the safety of my customers very seriously.
It's important to note this isn't a city problem. The same crimes are being reported in Beechwood, Euclid, Shaker Heights, and more.
When I pull up at the gas station and whatnot, I always look before I even get out the car and look at my surroundings. So if I see something wrong or whatnot I wouldn't even get out.
His advice?
Lock your doors. If there's ever any problem, come inside and tell, any of the business associates in there, any of the workers, they'll help you out in there. And don't leave your car unattended, especially when you're pumping gas.
Now, I reached out to the Cleveland detective investigating these crimes for a total number of them, and I haven't heard back yet today. But for a list of safety tips from police, check out our NewsNet 5 app.
Right now, we'll move to override a recent veto from Ohio Governor John Kasich. Appears to be in the works. The Columbus Dispatch reporting the Ohio House has now scheduled sessions tomorrow and Thursday. It's possible lawmakers could vote on overriding Kasich's veto of the so-called heartbeat bill. That bill, approved by Ohio lawmakers, would ban abortions if a heartbeat is detected in a fetus. It did not allow for exceptions in cases of rape or incest. Repealing Kasich's veto would require a 3/5 majority of each chamber. Breaking news right now, Carrie Fisher has passed away. She died this morning in Los Angeles, 4 days after suffering a heart attack. Dominic Ricks has been following this developing story all day. Dominic, she's been in the hospital since Friday.
Yeah, Rob, that was the day she collapsed aboard a passenger flight. Fisher captured our hearts in her world-famous role of Princess Leia in the Star Wars trilogy. Fisher was born into the spotlight. Her mother, screen legend Debbie Reynolds. Her father, popular singer Eddie Fisher. Over the years, she appeared in such films as When Harry Met Sally and wrote books like Postcards from the Edge. But that early success gave way to a troubled life. Off-screen, Fisher opened up about her personal struggle with drugs and bipolar disorder.
I had a large substance abuse problem, and you know, it deals with being someone who's chemically imbalanced.
A statement released from her family says, quote, "It is with a very deep sadness that Billie Lourd confirms that her beloved mother, Carrie Fisher, passed away at 8:55 this morning." The note goes on to say, quote, "She was loved by the world and she will be missed profoundly." Rob?
Well, news of another sort now. Just in, the Kings done it again. The Associated Press crowning LeBron James its Male Athlete of the Year. Helped end Cleveland's 52-year sports heartache when the Cavaliers won the NBA championship this past year. Second time LeBron James has won the AP award. First time was back in 2013.
You won't hear that anymore if you're used to golfing at Kent State. The university just announced they'll stop all operations of its golf course at the end of this year due to declining revenue. They say the Kent State men's and women's varsity teams will not be impacted by the closing.
Hello. All right, now let's talk.
Yes, sir.
Nice to see you.
Merry
Christmas. Nice to see you.
you.
In a couple days, Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. It's coming. Where did the year go?
Just goes
Unbelievable.
by.
Are you ready for the chill? It's here, Mr. Powers.
Is it the Big Chill? What time's it start?
The Big Chill, that was a great movie from the 80s, remember? Joe Beth Williams.
Do I remember the 80s or the movie?
The movie.
There you go.
All right, here we go. We got 34 in Cleveland, 36 in Akron and Worcester, 35 Mansfield. So remember yesterday when we had middle and upper 60s?
Oh, like
Gone.
it was yesterday.
Like that, like it was yesterday. Gone. Let's show you what the wind chills are. And if you're outside right now in Elyria, Rob, the wind chill's 20 degrees.
Yeah.
24 in Cleveland, 22 in Ravenna, 28 Worcester. It is winter coat weather again. So where are you going? Hour by hour, let's show you what we have coming our way. 5 p.m., cloudy in Cleveland, 34. 7 p.m., cloudy and 33. And 10 p.m., we may get some of that clearing that's to our south now working in, but we'll still be mainly cloudy with temps right around 32 degrees. We got a little snow coming our way, too. And, Rob, we're going to talk about that.
Snow, snow, snow. What a difference
for
a day
New Year's.
makes.
It's going to be a white New Year's.
Just like the song doesn't say.
I'm dreaming of a white New Year's. No?
Thank you.
I'm Kamasi Aaron. If you're planning to take back a holiday gift, grab your receipt and act fast. The changes big stores are making when it comes to holiday returns.
Let's take a live look right now downtown Cleveland. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And there's your neighborhood. We're back in 3 minutes. Right now, investigators are examining one of the black boxes they've now recovered from the Black Sea where a plane crashed Christmas Day. Dive crews continue to recover wreckage. They are still looking for the second black box, which is also the cockpit voice recorder. So far, they've also recovered at least 12 bodies. All 92 people on board that plane died when it went down, including Russia's famed military choir. Investigators initially ruled out terrorism in that crash. They're looking at technical failure and pilot error as possibilities here. That plane crashed shortly after taking off after refueling.
Happening this afternoon, the Japanese Prime Minister and President Barack Obama are visiting the USS Arizona Memorial in Pearl Harbor. It's the first time a Prime Minister from Japan has visited the memorial formally since Japan attacked in 1941. The memorial is built on top of the USS Arizona, which sank during the surprise attack, killing nearly 1,200 U.S. sailors and Marines who were on board. In all, more than 2,400 Americans died at Pearl Harbor. Yesterday, the Prime Minister laid a wreath at a cemetery. His visit is symbolic to show the reconciliation between Japan and the U.S. President Obama and the Prime Minister will talk about the historic visit in just about an hour.
Right now, police in Cincinnati are trying to track down bagpipes that belong to an Ohio Honor Guard member. The Now's TJ Parker reports that instrument was stolen right from his car after he performed at a vigil for a fallen officer.
Spread love everywhere I go through my pipes, and you just squash that for me.
Stephen Watt is playing borrowed bagpipes for now after his were stolen out of his car.
I thought, why the bagpipes?
Stephen was walking out of a play when he saw two of his car's windows were broken. He quickly checked his trunk and his bagpipes were gone.
Whoever broke into the car, when they saw the garment bag, it had Hamilton County Police Association written on it and my name, so they knew that they were definitely dealing with the police.
It's a combination of anger and hurt.
FOP President Dan Hills is hoping the bagpipes are brought back soon.
It becomes personal, but it's not only personal for Steve, it's personal for each and every family member who has ever been given an extra honor at their relative's passing when Steve Watt came.
They're priceless, you know. We just love to see them back.
Stephen is hoping whoever took them has it in their heart to return them.
That was TJ Parker reporting. Now, there's a cash reward for finding those bagpipes, and also right now the FOP is working on replacing them.
Take a look at this. Dozens of furs stolen from this store in New York City. You can see the thieves busting through the glass front doors, then walking out with bundles of fur coats. This happening just after midnight on Christmas Eve at a boutique on New York's Upper East Side. Officials believe the suspects cased the store before the heist. The manager says the thieves got away with at least 20 pieces, totaling millions of dollars. The fashion industry taking another hit today. A former Versace employee is suing the company for unfair business practices. He claims the luxury fashion label uses a secret code to alert employees when a black customer enters the store. He also says he was fired for being mixed race. Versace has denied the allegations and asked a judge to dismiss the case.
President-elect Trump takes his message to Twitter again, this time saying, "The world was gloomy before I won. There was no hope. Now the market is up nearly 10% and Christmas spending is over $1 trillion. Now that tweet comes after projections that holiday sales would be up 4% and the stock market's on the verge of hitting the 20,000 mark for the first time. If you are planning to take back a holiday gift, grab that receipt. You may need to act faster than you actually realize. The Now's Kumasi Aaron found out some big-name stores are shortening how long you have to make a return.
It's one of the busiest times of the year for retailers, the days after Christmas when shoppers are not only looking for deals, but making holiday returns.
As long as I have my receipt, easy. Without the receipt, challenging.
Pamela P. has a strategy.
One section of the purse has receipts, the other section of the purse has the money.
She doesn't stop there.
I make a note on my receipts. So as soon as I purchase something, I put, okay, 30 days I have to return this back, or 20 days I only have to return this back. So yeah. That's just me.
It's a strategy that may come in handy for other holiday shoppers. Whether you shopped on Black Friday or you waited until Christmas Eve, if you want to take something back, you need to grab your receipts and act fast. A lot of big stores are shortening how long you have to return things. Take Macy's. Instead of making returns anytime, you now only have a year. At Kohl's, premium electronics have to be returned by January 31st. And at Costco, major appliances have to be back in 90 days. Both stores used to have open-ended return policies. As customers make returns, they're also making new purchases.
The sales are a big draw.
This as consumer optimism about the economy hits its highest level since August 2001. Consumers also expect their incomes to keep growing. That, in combination with post-Christmas sales, may translate to more shopping.
You might have missed that perfect gift, and you figure, okay, I can get that perfect gift after Christmas.
For the Now, I'm Kamasi Aaron.
Now, it's holiday stories like this one that make this season so special. A 16-year-old girl determined to make sure a family in need had a Christmas to remember.
It's meant to be for him to come through my line and me hear that because I was going to do something about it. I had to.
8-year-old boy and his family came through her grocery line on Christmas Eve. She asked him what he wanted for Christmas, and his mom said they didn't have enough money for presents this year. So the girl took matters into her own hands, spending her entire paycheck on gifts for the boy and his family. She delivered those gifts that night, making his Christmas one he'll never forget.
That is something, man. That's great. Right now, a sigh of relief after a furious winter storm swept into the northern Great Plains Christmas Day. Caused more than 3,500 flight delays and cancellations. Wow. The storm is now weakening, but the travel is still treacherous in the Dakotas. Thousands of homes and businesses there still without power today. And then in Michigan, some roads are also still blocked by drifting snow.
Happening now, crews are looking for a plane that may have gone down in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Park officials say they received a report that a single-engine airplane went down last night. Crews tried using an emergency locator transmitter, but the plane's transmissions were not found. The FAA says the flight was headed to Gatlinburg Airport from Jacksonville, Florida.
All right, we'll keep our eye on that, but let's get back to this weather, this wild and wacky weather we got going on just about everywhere. It was 60 degrees yesterday. 65, right?
Spring day.
68
yesterday.
No way.
And now we're at 34, so you do the math on that one.
You do the math on
that
one.
I mean, I think it's half, you know, I wasn't the mathematician.
34 degrees drop. Yeah, back to normal. This is normal weather for northern Ohio at the end of December. Follow me over here, folks, and we'll show you what's going on. Look at Worcester. We got a live picture of Worcester now. We've got a mainly sunny sky here. Yeah, they've had a lot of sunshine in our southern counties all afternoon long, but not so fast for northern Ohio. Now, hold on. I've got the wrong clicker. Stay right there, Todd. Stay right there. Here we go. Let's click that in. There we are. I grabbed the traffic clicker by accident. 34 degrees Cleveland, Akron 37, Worcester at 36, and there's 35 degrees in Mansfield. This one works. Look at the clouds. Nothing here. Worcester, Millersburg, Canton is now seeing the clearing, moving in. Dover, New Philly, almost into Youngstown. So we draw a little line here. Here's where we're having the sun, and here's where we're still seeing pretty much mainly cloudy skies. Now, our hour by hour shows a lot of clouds here, but I'm optimistic that everyone should get at least a little bit of clearing coming in during the evening. So temps are going to fall back to near 30 degrees by the time we all go to bed. Rob, what do you think of that? The chill is back. You love that 68-degree weather. You had the top down on the Jeep, I bet.
You know, 68's okay, but it's winter. 30s are fine.
He's such a buzzkill.
It's just a tease.
Isn't he a buzzkill? He's just a buzzkill. You know, say you loved it.
I did love it, but it's December. It should be in the 30s, so it's in the 30s, and baseball season's around the corner. And
okay, so we've got some snow coming for you, Rob, because I know how much you love it. We'll talk more about that coming up.
Now, wait, we didn't talk snow.
It's the so-called bus of the future. Turned a lot of heads this summer, but plans to get it up and running just hit a major roadblock.
Well, I remember that. That was wild. Let's take a live look at traffic right now. Things moving right along on this Tuesday as we get set to move into a brand new year. You're watching the Now Cleveland. We've got a heads up now. If you're heading out of town for the new year, you could be paying a bit more at the pump. Starting January 1st, 7 states will see gas tax increases, including Pennsylvania, Michigan, Nebraska, Georgia, North Carolina, Indiana, even Florida. That price hike is meant to help those states balance budgets for road construction and maintenance. Hey, remember the cool bus we showed you here on the Now not too long ago? It's designed to straddle congested streets and just drive right above all those traffic jams. A company in China was said to be testing the concept earlier this year, but, well, now there are questions. Was this all just a publicity stunt? This test bus has been all but abandoned for months now, and the section of road used for testing hasn't been restored and returned to the city.
Now, the idea of getting our power from things like solar panels and wind turbines has been challenging for a long time because of the cost. But apparently, all that's changing. For the first time, solar and wind power now cost the same or is cheaper than power from new coal or natural gas sources in more than 30 countries without needing subsidies. That's according to the World Economic Forum's new report out this month. The Solar Energy Industry Association says the U.S. just had its biggest quarter ever and expects to set another record after the end of the year. It translates to 125 new solar panels every minute this past year, double the year before. Enough solar energy to power 6.5 million homes. The U.S. Energy Information Administration says solar's on pace to become the top new fuel source for the first time this year. And just today, Panasonic and Tesla announced a $256 million deal to produce solar cells. The companies will start production next summer at a plant in Buffalo, New York.
The countdown is on to a new year and a new administration. Coming up, why Planned Parenthood is now planning for the worst.
Weather-wise, well, remember yesterday? So warm, so spring-like. Well, winter is making its return, and that means a little bit of snow coming up.
Sure. Well, 2 people are talking at the same time. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The woman who doesn't want her name or face on TV because of her employment told me she booked her Spirit for flight. Okay.
Welcome back to the Now Cleveland. We were just counting the computers here in the Weather Center.
How many?
Guess how many?
17 computers.
17.
That's how many he needs to work magic.
That doesn't include my smartphone.
18 computers. Plus your mind, there's 19 computers.
18 and a quarter computers here. All right, let's show you what's going on. 18 and a fat eighth of a computer. 18 and a fat eighth. That's it. This brain, a fat eighth. Here we go. Notice, we're looking for a tiny bit of snow flurry activity here, and I'm going to draw a little circle now. Where's the circle? Oh, come on. Hold on. There's a little circle right there. I need 19 computers, indeed. Just making sure I have the right clicker. There we have it. A little bit of light snow could slide in off the lake in Lake Geauga, Ashtabula counties. It wouldn't amount to much. Now we'll show you the wider view, and as you can see, we've got a lot of lake effect snow here. Off Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Superior. I've got all my Great Lakes messed up. Thank you very much. So there's the snow. There's not a lot here, but we could see a flurry or two. All right, just a flurry. Just a flurry. Now I got to go back over here since this clicker is not working. Let's try that. There it is, your hour by hour. You notice the temps. They stay in the lower 30s through much of the overnight, and we're staying mainly cloudy all night long by 5 a.m. at 30 degrees. So not terribly cold, but it is back to reality, Tara and Rob. The chill is back. It will eventually mean a little bit of snow. We will show you your weekend coming up in a minute.
Look forward to that, the all-important weekend. An Akron woman says her dream vacation to the Caribbean turned into a nightmare once she tried to get back home. Her flight from Fort Lauderdale to Cleveland delayed, diverted, and then canceled altogether. You might not believe what she says happened next. The Now's Derek Waller live for us at Cleveland Hopkins Airport. Derek, passengers got on buses here, correct?
That is correct. They were bused home after their flight was diverted from Cleveland to Detroit, and then the bus broke down. Let me tell you some more about this. The woman who does not want her name or face on TV because of her employment told me she booked on Spirit for her and her 2 children because they offered a direct flight to Florida and the price was right. But on the way home on Monday, her flight was delayed several hours, then diverted. Finally, Spirit put everybody on buses to get them from Detroit to Cleveland. And then Spirit actually confirms the bus did break down, she says, near Toledo. They got home in the middle of the night. Spirit offered her 3 $50 vouchers, one for each ticket, vouchers she does not plan to use, and she is demanding a refund.
I would like a representative from Spirit to contact the passengers that were sitting on that bus on the side of the highway. These elderly people with kids, they didn't give us any drinks, meals. I mean, they wouldn't even provide us a bottle of water.
Now, in that email to customers that had those $50 vouchers, Spirit did apologize, and I actually just got off the phone with them. They blamed the weather for this, in which case they say they don't really have an obligation to do anything, but they said because everything just went wrong with this, they decided to offer those $50 vouchers. Live in Cleveland, Derek Waller, News 5.
Just into the now, dramatic video of an Illinois state trooper getting sideswiped while helping another driver. Check it out. The trooper was parked behind a driver who was changing a tire when another driver struck the cruiser. The crash ripped the trooper's door off and sent the patrol car crashing into the disabled vehicle. The driver was ticketed for not slowing down or moving over for emergency vehicles. The trooper and the driver changing the tire were thankfully not hurt.
You probably remember the undercover videos and the state and congressional investigations into Planned Parenthood. The effort to take away its federal funding could become reality after the Trump administration takes over. The Now's Todd Walker found Planned Parenthood offices across the country are now bracing and preparing for what's next.
We call this the sheets of shame.
5 days a week, this is where you'll find Leslie Hanks in a small group of what she calls lifesavers.
Every day that Planned Parenthood kills babies, we try to be here to offer the women going in help.
They want abortion abolished and try to tell anyone going into the Planned Parenthood location in Denver, Colorado that they should turn around and go somewhere else, regardless of why they're actually there.
Death Camp compound has these 8-foot-high wrought iron fences with this tarp across so that you can't really have a conversation with a person very easily.
This has been going on for years, and with the incoming Trump administration, they hope Planned Parenthood might finally be defunded.
Well, I think that's the very bare minimum that we should expect. No taxpayers should be forced to be an accomplice to the murders that go on here.
We have a real challenge in front of us with this Congress.
Vicki Coward is the president and CEO of Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountain region, which, like the rest of the Planned Parenthoods around the country, is bracing for the new Republican Congress and administration to remove the organization from Medicaid, cutting off its federal funding, all because it offers abortions, something Planned Parenthood says is less than 10% of its services offered and doesn't use federal funding for.
This is a really backwards way of approaching an imagined problem. If Planned Parenthood is not participating in Medicaid, we're talking about people not having access to life-saving cancer screening, breast health care, STD and HIV treatments, and of course, birth control.
In anticipation of losing their federal funding, Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountain region says appointments for long-term birth control has gone up 300%, and it's even higher in other parts of the country.
People are like, I got to get in before the inaugural.
Planned Parenthood says it is not only increasing its private fundraising now, but also boosting its lobbying efforts to try and keep what they fear may be the inevitable from happening.
And we think that's foolhardy, it's wrong, and we're going to fight it with every fiber of our being.
And the crew outside says they'll keep fighting, too.
They're all guilty of crimes against humanity, and they should be charged accordingly.
For the Now, I'm Todd Walker.
Planned Parenthood says 1 in 5 women across the country has visited one of its offices at least once in their life.
Now, one little boy's love for police officers is putting him in the national spotlight. Meet 11-year-old Landon Hathcote. He admires public service workers and has always dreamed of working in the field. But his mother says he's quickly realizing he may never get that chance.
We were laying in bed one night and he started talking about his muscular dystrophy, and he kept saying things like, I ignore thinking about when I'm older. And I said, what do you mean you ignore it? And he said, how can I be a cop if I can't go upstairs and if I'm going to be in a wheelchair?
Landon has muscular dystrophy and has limited mobility, but thanks to a Facebook post, he's discovering there are a lot of positions he could hold within the department.
There you go.
Landon has received letters from officers, sergeants, and police chiefs across the nation, along with hats and uniform badges. He even got the chance to go to the shooting range with local officers, and his mom says he's once again hopeful about his future.
There you go. Hang in there, Landon. Still ahead for us on the Now Cleveland. You're probably still cleaning up after those holiday parties, Tara.
You know we are, but before you drag all those Christmas gift boxes out to the curb, you're going to want to hear what police have to say about them.
And a big holiday weekend coming our way. Let's show it to you right now in the Power of 5. Saturday looks like rain for your New Year's Eve as temps rise up to near 42 degrees for the high. Sunday, Happy New Year, 39, should be dry with a partly cloudy sky. More than Now coming up after this.
much do we love Amazon? Sounds like it's a whole lot. The company's announcing today it shipped more than 1 billion items through its Amazon Prime and fulfillment services, a new record. Amazon's Echo Dot was its most popular gift. That's a voice-enabled device that ties into Amazon's digital assistant, Alexa. Sales jumped 9 times what it sold last year. And more than 70% of Amazon's orders were made using our mobile devices. With the Christmas holiday over, people are getting back to work, and services like trash collection are starting back up today. But listen to this before you drag all those boxes back to the curb. Police departments say you should break down all your gift boxes first. That way you're not telling thieves everything you got for Christmas. Many check out the boxes to see if it's worth breaking into your house.
The holiday spirit this time of year carries over into charitable giving. According to WalletHub.com, it turns out 20% of all donations to charity are made in the last 48 hours of a year. And when it comes to the entire year, which city in the U.S. is the most caring? Well, WalletHub looked at the 100 most populated cities in the U.S., considered all sorts of things like helping elderly people cross the road, poverty, adoption rates, even the number of animal shelters. The website found that Madison, Wisconsin is the most caring city in America, followed by Lincoln, Nebraska, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Cleveland ranked 40th out of 100. Now, breaking it down even further, WalletHub found these cities have the highest percentage of people doing favors for their neighbors: Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Kansas City, Missouri, and Cincinnati, Ohio. Not that far away.
Where's Cleveland? We're doing favors all the time.
It's 40th in the one list. We're building up.
Okay.
Making our way up.
Guys, 1 million. That's how many people will be in Times Square this weekend to ring in the new year. And security is a top priority. See what police are doing different this year to keep everyone safe.
It's a busy, busy Times Square. You are watching the Now Cleveland, and we are all back in about 2 minutes. See that white light?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's a habit from my last station. I'm sorry.
One of them.
Yes. Sorry. No, it's really not. Am I going there?
Oh, yeah. I'm just kidding.
With New Year's Eve celebrations expected to draw a huge crowd, there is increased security in Times Square in New York City. Police say it's not a response to any specific threat, but they're not going to take any chances in the wake of the terror attack in Berlin. ABC's Elizabeth Hurd in New York with more.
New York City's Times Square, usually packed with tourists year-round, is about to get a lot busier with this year's giant ball now in position for the big party just days away. The NYPD also gearing up for the main event.
In light of what we've experienced in this country and the attacks that we've witnessed overseas, law enforcement has to take every situation seriously.
The vigilance comes just a week after a joint security bulletin expressed concern, noting there's no specific credible threat against the Times Square New Year's Eve 2017 celebration, but the presence of a large number of spectators represents opportunities for a mass casualty event.
Even a person with no direct ties to a terrorist organization can still represent a threat to this country.
Law enforcement around the world still on high alert after the truck attack in Berlin last week that killed 12 and injured dozens more. In Times Square this weekend, security will be the city's top priority, with sanitation trucks used to block streets during the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade expected to make a return, as well as officers in tactical gear armed with rifles and other layers of protection the public will not see.
And police are asking revelers to do their part, not just here in New York City, but at celebrations throughout the country, to stay alert and vigilant. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
Right now, people in China getting ready for the Lunar New Year. It falls on January 28th. Among the celebrations, these spectacular light shows. They feature more than 90 million bulbs. Okay, so let's be honest. We usually break our New Year's resolutions faster than we make them, right?
Yeah, we know that to be true. But what if we made a new kind of resolution that could help keep us on track? If your goal is to lose weight, instead of cutting out certain foods, try adding them. For example, include a serving of vegetables or fruits with every meal and drink more water. Over time, these additions will leave no room for unhealthy habits.
Okay, here's another idea. Choose a theme as your New Year's resolution, a word or a phrase that describes how you want to feel instead of what you think you should do. Words like authenticity, clarity, kindness, just a few options there. When you focus on your theme every day, it can have a positive impact on your behavior.
Now, be honest. How many times have you come down with a symptom and consulted Google for information? Of course, you should always talk to your real doctor, but Google tracks those searches, and here are the top health questions of 2016. What is Zika? The mosquito-borne illness that causes birth defects first came to light when thousands of cases were diagnosed in Brazil. That was right before the Rio Olympics. And a second search actually stemmed from those Olympics. What is cupping? The ancient Chinese therapy is used to alleviate soreness. It also leaves behind big red circles. You may remember seeing the marks on the back of swimmer Michael Phelps. Another top search, what is TBI? TBI, or traumatic brain injury, has been linked to sports injuries, combat injuries, and physical violence.
We've got an alert right now for parents. Evenflow is recalling some car seat models because of a harness issue. The company says children can loosen the harness on the Evolve booster seats on their own. Those seats on the recall list were made before February of 2016. Evenflow says nobody's been hurt here, but the company has gotten several complaints. We have a complete list of the models being recalled. That's on our News 5 app.
Right now, a few wise guy inmates are back behind bars after their very bold and pretty nasty escape plan. Check this out. They busted out through the prison toilet. Yes, the toilet. You can see the damage they left behind, taking out the entire bathroom wall. The sheriff says plumbing repairs behind a stainless steel toilet had damaged some concrete behind that wall.
They was able to kick out some concrete that was easily broken, along with some plumbing and some other things, and they kicked open a steel box unit that was covering the outside of the access.
Now, 3 of the 6 inmates that broke out are now back behind bars. Officers are still looking for the others who are still missing. Yikes.
Now take a look at this. Somebody drove a car over a river embankment. This is in Minneapolis. This is a 135-foot drop. There's only one person in that car. When firefighters got to the scene, they did get to that person. They got to the riverbank, then transported them across the river. You see it there. Paramedics were waiting there. We have no word on what caused the car to actually go over. Yikes. Think of that. Every time you see an embankment, just how far is that thing? Yeah, you got to be careful out there. Okay, so you got to be careful on slick roads. Maybe that's what happened there.
Because it's cold again.
Well, it's December. 'Tis the season, Mark.
Yeah, okay.
'Tis the season to be freezing, right? All right, that's a song, I think. Right now, I'll show you cloudy skies in Cleveland, chilly 34 degrees, traffic moving well. Again, kids out of school for another week or so. Lake effect snow to our north, not really seeing anything here east of Cleveland, but there could be an isolated flurry in Lake Geauga and Ashtabula County over the next little while. I'm not expecting much, folks. 34 Fremont, 33 Norwalk, 32 Elyria. We've got 36 in Worcester where the skies have cleared out, 37 Canton, 41 had sunshine most of the afternoon, Dover, New Philly, so that allowed the temps to go up. This is the most amazing graphic of the day. Rob, Tara? 24-hour temperature change. Yikes. From this time 24 hours ago to now. Elyria has dropped 30 degrees. That's amazing. 29-degree temperature drop in Cleveland and Mentor. 25 degrees colder now as opposed to 24 hours ago in the Akron area as well as Youngstown. 27 degrees colder now in Mansfield from just 24 hours ago. Crazy. Here's the high building in. Circulation around it is clockwise. So we'll have those winds coming in out of the west, northwest. So the cool air is going to hang with us. So here you go. Your weather window. Notice those temps. Even by midnight, we're only going to drop a degree or two. Hopefully get a little bit of clearing coming our way after the sun goes down. Akron, Canton, you will be partly to mostly cloudy through the overnight, and by midnight, your temps right at 30 degrees. Cold, but not frigidly so. Pretty normal for this time of year in late December. Rob?
Could be a whole heck of a lot worse here. Our newsroom hard at work right now, getting ready for News 5 at 5.
Frank Wiley's joining us now with a live preview. Hey, Frank.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing? The craze, it's been seen across the map. Mall chaos orchestrated through social media by teens. Well, the latest episode happening right here and sending shoppers into a terrified frenzy. Also controversial, and we'll learn its fate, the fetal heartbeat bill, a proposed abortion legislation which makes abortions illegal as soon as a heartbeat can be detected. Find out what Governor Kasich's decision is. Those stories and much more tonight on News 5 at 5.
Thank you, Frank. See you then.
Now, you're never too small to make a big impact. A 4-year-old little boy in Miami Beach is now a hero to his family. When his younger brother turned the oven on, a pizza box caught fire. He alerted his mother by using a phrase from a popular children's movie that really actually helped.
I saved the day.
Recognize that phrase? It's from the newest Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. And according to the family, Mason and his little brother watch it religiously. His mom was able to put out the fire with little to no damage done.
That is something. Way to go, kid. You know, the fastest animal on land now racing toward extinction. Researchers say about 7,100 cheetahs. That's all. They still exist in the wild. They want cheetah status now changed from vulnerable to endangered. That would better protect the animals. Cheetahs hunt across a vast amount of land, are facing increasing threats as humans now encroach on their habitat. They hunt them and kill their prey.
Road trips are pretty common during the holidays, but I don't know how common this is. A little kitten took a wild ride, nearly 600 miles under the hood of a pickup truck. The driver found the kitten when he stopped for gas in Roanoke, Virginia, and says he recognized it as the same kitten he saw before he left his home in New York.
Just sitting down here around the airbox area, just on top of the, well, not the master cylinder, but over the brake reservoir. Me and her wrestled for a minute, and then we were able to get her into a cardboard box, and we brought her here to the emergency vet.
Amazingly, the kitten is okay, dehydrated and a little scratched up. But get this, she's been adopted by one of that man's family members.
And good for them for taking the animal right to the hospital. That's great. Good thinking. Now, check out this guy. That's a pretty big seal there. Police in Australia say this animal, nicknamed Mr. Lou Seal, wandered into a neighborhood, climbed on top of a Toyota, then caused thousands of dollars of damage to the car. The seal then just took a nap right there in the driveway. Wildlife officials took Mr. Lou Seal in for a checkup, then they released him back into the wild.
Lucille, that's too cute. Remember the 56-year-old Taylor Swift superfan we told you about last week? Well, Swift heard about how badly the World War II veteran wanted to see her perform, so she showed up at his house in Missouri. The singer took photos with Cyrus Porter and his family, looked at his medals and newspaper articles on the war, and even pulled out a guitar for a little acoustic Shake It Off. Fruitcake tends to get a bad rap, but believe it or not, some people really do enjoy it.
I know they do. Today's the day to celebrate this much maligned holiday treat because it is National Fruitcake Day.
There's a national day for everything.
There you go. It's believed the ancient Romans came up with the first fruitcake. Ancient Egyptians buried loved ones with fruitcake because they thought it could handle the journey to the afterlife. Lord knows it would still be good.
Yeah, probably.
We're back after this.
55 children died.
I know. Oh, boy.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mic check, check.
Most recently, a woman held at gunpoint.
And tonight we're learning new information on what it was like inside. Now to the war of words. It's going on between the president and the president-elect after the two leaders promised to have a smooth transition of power.
But now Mr. Trump is firing off on Twitter after the president said he could have beaten him on election night. Kenneth Moten has details now from Washington.
The president versus the president in waiting.
Very good man.
Thank you,
Very good man.
Who could have beaten whom if the president could have run for a third term? In a podcast, President Obama told his former White House advisor, David Axelrod, he's confident in his vision.
I think I could have mobilized a majority of the American people to rally behind it.
Donald Trump fired back on Twitter. President Obama said he thinks he would have won against me. He should say that, but I say no way. Later adding, the world was gloomy before I won. There was no hope.
My guess is we are looking ahead to what's going to happen on January 21st. I think Barack Obama is going to be very assertive and very aggressive in taking on Donald Trump.
Trump's Twitter outrage shifted to the United Nations after the passage of a UN resolution calling the expansion of Israeli settlements illegal. Trump tweeted, "The UN has such great potential, but right now it is just a club for people to get together, talk, and have a good time." The Trump tweets come as the president-elect works to disentangle himself from his business and his charitable foundation, which he claims, unlike most foundations, it never paid fees, rent, salaries, or expenses. 100% of money goes to wonderful charities. Trump's foundation is under investigation by the New York Attorney General over questions about its collections, donations, and spending.
The AG says Trump can't legally dissolve his foundation until the investigation is complete. Trump busy tweeting, but he and his transition team still have a lot of work to do to fill posts just 3 weeks until Inauguration Day. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
And that'll do it for the now.
We'll see you tomorrow. Right now, News 5 starts.
News 5 on your side.